G'day, welcome back to RC Model Reviews. I'm sitting here in the edit studio because I've been editing up the review of the RadioKing TX18S. And I realised it's a really long review, but it's longer than it should be, and it's a bit rambly and it's a bit confusing in places because I'm comparing three radios here. I'm comparing the Jumper TX18, the RadioMaster TX16S, and the RadioKing TX18S, and it's so easy to get confused. They're also similar in appearance, similar in name, so you'll excuse in a number of places I just get completely confused, but hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Anyway, bottom line, you want to know, should you buy this radio? And I'd say, well, if you buy it, you probably won't be, you won't regret it. It works pretty much the same as the other two, the Jumper and the RadioMaster. If you can get it at a good price, it's probably going to be great value. It's not the I'd say the best is still the RadioMaster, the CNC version of the RadioMaster. That's the best radio of the three, but this could be the best value depending on where you're shopping and how much you're paying. So it's worth taking a look. I'm going to give you the information that you might need to make that purchasing decision, because ultimately you've got to make your own mind up what you're going to buy. But as I say, if you buy it, you probably would not be upset by what you got in the box. It certainly seems to function perfectly fine. So without further ado, and having excused myself from this terrible review video, let's watch what I found. G'day and welcome back to RC Model Reviews. We've got a couple of radios on the bench here, but they look very similar, don't they? Very similar indeed. Now, this is the RadioMaster T16S. I've already looked into that. It's a pretty kick-ass radio. They've got the new one now with all the CNC bits, but the basic T16S is a pretty damn good radio. But what's this other one here? It looks so similar. It's not a RadioMaster at all. In fact, what is it? Well, let me get the box and it'll tell you itself. It is the RadioKing T18S. Oh, this is like, hang on a minute, we've got the Jumper T18, okay, the Jumper T18, the RadioMaster T16S, and now we have, let me just scoot these along a bit, and now we have, to add to the confusion, the RadioKing T16S, T18S, T18, oh, the numbers are so confusing, so let me just get this straight for you. This is the RadioMaster T18S, says on the box. This is the Jumper, and it is the, what does it say? Oh, I've just got it written here. The T18 Jumper, see, T18 Jumper, that's this one on the left. And the one in the middle, of course, is the RadioMaster T16S. Well, what's what? I mean, they all look very similar, don't they? I mean, there's a lot of similarity. Let me just try and let me pull out a bit here. So, oops, not too far. You can see my messy bench. This camera is my old camera, and I'm all set up for my new camera now, so I'm finding it harder to use the old one. Anyway, yeah, so we've got three radios that look very, 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 I just had another one for good luck, very similar. And so why would you buy any of them? Well, which one would you buy and why? Well, I've already reviewed the RadioMaster T16S, and we've had a look at the Jumper, and we'll put those side by side on the bench, and we've seen that the insides are pretty similar, but not exactly the same. So I think today we'll take a look at the RadioKing, the new entry in the field, and see how it stacks up. One thing that's really got me excited, of course, to start with is look at the screen protector. Look at this. Oh, look at that beautiful screen protector. It goes right past the edge. I will never take that off because you know what I think about screen protectors. This is screen protector excellence, isn't it? Oh, nearly got it off. That's fantastic. That's brilliant. That is amazing. But let's look a bit deeper and see what's inside this thing. As always, you're going to have to excuse the state of my bench because I've been working very hard on a couple of projects which will be coming up very soon, including the ADSB alarm, but more on that later. Anyway, this is an interesting situation because it is a hybrid of the two almost. So it's addressed some of the points. For example, on the RadioMaster, the antenna is fixed. You can't unscrew that. It's fixed in as part of the getting type approval thing, I think so. And a lot of people want to change the antenna. Might want a high gain antenna. Might want to replace the antenna at some stage. On the RadioMaster, obviously, not such an easy task. The Jumper, however, had that detachable antenna. You can remove it because it has an inbuilt antenna for the 2.4, and this is actually the 900 megahertz for the R9. But I don't know what's going on with this because really, to be honest, not much comes with the radio itself. It's got the box just says it has a 4-in-1. It doesn't say if it's got 900 megahertz or anything else. The box is just a box. There's no real information on the box. So we have to open it up to see if it's got the 900 megahertz inside. And if it doesn't have 900 megahertz, is this a 2.4 gig antenna or is it a 900 megahertz antenna? Be nice if we knew, but we'll find out. It's got, yeah, that feels probably the same as the Jumper rather than the RadioMaster feels a little different. This is more of a Jumper roller. Looking at the sticks, obviously we've got these sort of metallized edges. I don't know if these are Hall effect sticks or not. They are in here. They're probably not there. These feel quite a bit stiffer. So I'm thinking these probably aren't Hall effect, but we will find out. It doesn't have the faux carbon. Jumper has faux carbon. There you go. I wasn't a fan of the faux carbon. The original RadioMaster is just black plastic. This is black plastic. The way they've organized the buttons is different, of course. It's more like the Jumper. In fact, they probably, I don't know. Have they used the Jumper moldings? It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. Does it have a folding handle? No, it doesn't. So it's got the original, as I say, it's a hybrid. The Jumper has the folding handle, remember? And the RadioMaster didn't have the folding handle. And on this one, has no folding handle either. So really, you're going to have to sort of look at, this may be the perfect radio for you. It may have all the best bits from both radios, or it may have the worst bits from both radios, depending on how you feel about the individual features. So, the button layout on the front of the radio is, of course, a direct copy from the Jumper. As you can see, it's got these rounded buttons here. It's got the 2 power switches, whereas the RadioMaster just has 1 power switch. So, and it's got the diagonally slanted buttons there, and yeah, so it looks like the plastic is a copy of the Jumper plastic without the faux carbon. Let's have a look on the back. Is there any difference? Yes, there is a difference on the back. I'll show you that. Look at the hand grips. The hand grips are quite different. This one's coming off on mine. Oh no, that's terrible. The hand grips are quite different. Are they the same as the RadioMaster? Well, they're pretty similar to the RadioMaster. So again, it's borrowed from one or the other. It's like neither. It's not a copy of either. It is a hybrid of both. Interesting. So I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. You're saying, Bruce, get your damn screwdriver out and let's look inside. Okay, let's do that. So here we go in all its full glory. This is the insides of the RadioKing. And it said 4-in-1 on the box, but it says 5-in-1 here. JP 5-in-1. Although there is only one UFL connector, and that goes off to this. So this is a up the top here is a 2.4 gig aerial, obviously. There is no, I can't see any PC antenna in there. So this is a 2.4 gig radio. So if you were looking at buying the Jumper solely solely to use on 2.4 gigs, and this might be a better option because it does give you a better antenna, and that'll just give you a little bit more range, a little bit more omnidirectional capabilities. So unless you want to use the inbuilt 900 megahertz on the Jumper T16, then this is an option. I think there is a 4-in-1 version of the Jumper as well, so maybe you could buy that as well. It's going to be very hard to draw distinctions between these products because this is all very similar. It looks, hard to tell the difference. In fact, let's take the back off the Jumper and do a side-by-side. But before we do, look, these are Hall effect sticks. You can see the magnet rotating there, and the little Hall effect sensor is actually on this board here. So the magnet rotates. I don't think we can get in far enough to see, but whoops, the magnet rotates, and that oh, there we go. You can see the little black Hall effect sensor there. The magnetic field alters. There's no actual physical contact between the two. It's just a Hall effect focus camera. There we go. So yeah, and interestingly, this is kind of strange. You'll notice on this axis, the wire goes through the center of the magnet. So that's kind of weird, isn't it? Maybe the other sticks are the same. They probably are. I haven't really looked closely at the other transmitter sticks, but look at that. See, the wire goes through the center of the magnet. There's potential for a bit of wear there, I would have thought, over time on that stick with the wire running through. Yeah, who knows? So as with the other one, most of the others, I've got these little PC boards they've done away with those ribbon cables, which obviously were a bit of a waste of time. One thing I have noticed up the top here is a little switch mode power supply thing here from the USB-C connector, and then a lead that runs all the way down underneath there to here, which is, of course, your battery plugs in here. So I'm thinking this has got a built-in USB-C charger for your LiPo pack, which is a good thing, or LiPo or lithium-ion pack, which is a good thing. That's a good thing if you want to charge your batteries in situ without having to take them out and charge them separately, because the Jumper itself, the T16 TX18 jumper, I think they removed the USB charge capability, but I can't remember. I'll have a look when I take the back off it. Okay, so now we're getting into the guts of it all, and you can see that basically they have the same boards, the same component layouts, the same little flex cable here. This has got an extra flex cable. What's that got on it? What's that for? I don't know. It goes off to the touchscreen. Has this got it? Maybe this has got, well, maybe they got the touchscreen installed, because that looks like the touchscreen controller on the RadioKing, whereas the RadioMaster, no, sorry, the Jumper. Oh God, this is so damn confusing. RadioKing Jumper T16. Let's get that. I'll put some writing on the screen so you can see. Anyway, so the Jumper doesn't have the touchscreen. Well, this one doesn't have a touchscreen. This one obviously has the touchscreen controller and probably got the touchscreen. We'll check it when we fire it up. And as I said, they both got the JP5-in-1, but you notice that on the Jumper, which is set up for 900 megahertz operation, there is this black lead here from the UFL. That's the 2.4 gig antenna, which goes over to the little PC antenna on the back of the case here, which is a real pain because you've got to keep this hooked up or disconnected. So there's your 2.4 gig antenna on the Jumper. So that's a 900 megahertz on the top. So this is a 2.4, because that same UFL connector over here goes off to that. So this is a 2.4 gig antenna. They simply haven't connected the 900 megahertz part of the 5-in-1. Why would you not do that? I mean, this looks to be an identical board. Why would you not enable the 900 megahertz on a product like that? I don't know. I have to ask the RadioKing people, I suppose. They're the ones who would know. But let's take a bit more of a look around. This one here has got the pots. This is the Jumper with pots. They did send the Hall Effect sticks. I haven't installed them on this one yet. So this is why these are different between the two units. Pots or Hall Effect, most people want to go Hall Effect these days, and as I say, the Jumper does come with a Hall Effect setup. But if you look at it, the same ARM chip, the same, looks like a RAM chip, or ROM, I'm not sure, WinBond, no, it might be, I don't know, that could be the display controller. I have no idea. I haven't actually looked up the numbers. It doesn't really matter. All you need to know is that, hey ho, these are basically the same radio inside the internals. The electronics are basically the same. Another note here, remember I said that this has got its little charger controller up here, and the little red wires run all the way down to here, and then the battery plugs in there. Well, if you look on the Jumper T16, there's nothing up here for doing the charging, and there's no little red wire, and this little socket down here is unpopulated, so there's no connection between there and where there would be a charge circuit. So the Jumper does not charge the batteries in transmitter. The RadioKing does charge batteries in transmitter. So because that in transmitter charging, that's a feature of the RadioMaster. So they've chopped and changed. They've made some bits from both. That's fine. That's it's hey ho. What can I say? So this should perform. In theory, this should perform exactly like the Jumper, because the guts is the same. So if you're going to look at the two, if all else is equal, you may decide on price. I don't know, where you can get a good deal. Remember, I'm not here to shill products. I'm just here to give you the information so you can make an informed decision. I'm not going to make it. I don't care which one of these you would buy. So buy whichever one you want. But I guess it's time to put them back together, because it's a bit nervous having them apart on the bench all the time. I'll lose everything. And then we'll fire this up and see how it compares to that from a firmware perspective. They both should be running OpenTX. Are they different? Now, just a few observations with this radio. It doesn't quite feel as quality as the Jumper or the RadioMaster. Little things like this grip here is, see there? It doesn't sort of lock in place. It's kind of floppy. I noticed that when I first picked it up actually out of the box. It's not, the other ones, it's firm and it feels like it should be on there. This feels like it's going to fall off a little bit. There's the rattle. That is partly due to the the battery compartment being loose in there. But even if I take that out, I think the case itself this cover is a little bit, it's a bit looser fit in there. See, that moves quite easily. It doesn't quite feel quite as, that's okay, but it just doesn't quite feel quite as well engineered perhaps. Another thing I noticed while I was just looking at the radio side by side is that this has these straight plain buttons. This has the RadioMaster style buttons. So let's just compare those, the RadioMaster style buttons. I don't know if that makes any difference to you, but as I say, it is a real mishmash. It's a real mishmash of two different radios. And this is not uncommon. This is very much like the situation with the original FlySky 9X, where originally it was made by FlySky. It was rebranded by IMAX, and then Turnigy got them made with the Turnigy 9X brand. So there's the same basic radio being sold under a number of different brands, and which brand you choose probably determined by the points that are important to you. But the other thing I just noticed now, just looking at this, is the alignment of the neck strap thing. It's not quite straight. It is on the piss a little bit. And again, combine that with the loose grip on the back here and the rattly battery thing, and it just makes you feel it's not quite built to the same standard as even the jumper, which has a, if we turn the jumper over, you see the battery on here is, it doesn't move at all. And the neck strap on there is perfectly straight. So yeah, I don't know what the price on this is. I never include pricing information in my reviews because pricing goes out of date and it changes. So I would get you to do a price comparison. If you're looking at buying one of these, do a price comparison with the other options. That's the RadioMaster and the actual Jumper T16S, the T18, sorry. Oh, I will never get to grips with this. I'll have to write it all down. But yeah, do a comparison. Now, if you're quite happy with a little bit of a piss on, a bit of a bend on the old radio strap and a bit of a rattly back, and grips that aren't, might just need a little bit of double-sided tape or something to make sure they don't fall off, then you might be able to save some money, because as we saw inside, the internals are very, very basically identical. But in fact, this has got things that the Jumper doesn't have. It has the inbuilt charging system. So if you're willing to forsake a little bit, now let's feel the switches. The switches probably all come from the same manufacturer, so I think they're probably all right. And remember, this has got Hall effect sticks. They are set up quite stiff. That's why I thought they weren't. There's a lot of spring pressure on there compared to the way I usually run my radios. So yeah, but it's Hall effect. I'm going to check. We'll check and see if this is a touch screen or if it's has potential to be active as a touch screen once the software catches up, which is probably the case. The detents, probably, let me compare them to the Jumper. They look like the same components, so it should be the same. Yeah, it's probably, yeah, it feels exactly the same as the Jumper. So you're getting really weak detents on the little slider controls there, which is a bit of a shame. And there's virtually nothing there. Virtually nothing there. So it has many of the weaknesses of the Jumper and the RadioMaster, to be fair, because they both have these problems with those knobs and sliders. But yeah, as I say, let's put a battery in it, fire it up, see how she goes. Okay, I hate doing this. This is terrible. This is a first. This is a first for RC model reviews. Look, I'm going to take the screen protector off. Oh, that hurt so much. It's like taking off a sticking plaster. But hey, there you go. I've taken off the screen protector. And you notice this has got a reflective screen. You get that. If it does have the touch screen, then you get a reflective surface. Without a touch screen, quite often you can get a non-reflective surface. And reflective, like, look, you can see me really clearly in there. Hello, how are you? And that, when you're working outdoors, is a bit of a downside. Now, I'm not going to take the screen protector off. Look, see, that's not as reflective as that. Mind you, I do still have the screen protector. I'm not going to take the screen protector off that. Maybe just the corner. No, I won't. Let's take a look at the Jumper. Has that got a shiny screen? Yeah, that's got a shiny screen too. You can see under there. It is also very shiny. It's a shame because if you look at your average LCD, your average LCD monitor, like this one, see, that's non-reflective. Why can't they make screens on radios non-reflective? That'd be so much nicer. Anyway, aside from that, let's turn it on. This is the first power up. 2 buttons, just like the Jumper. Does it talk? It's very impressive, I have to say. Maybe the batteries I put in there are not charged. I don't know. I thought they were. I'll get my meter and we'll measure them. Let's have a look. Let's see what it says. I have had problems with these battery holders in the past. I'm not a great fan of battery holders. Things oxidize and you don't always end up with a good, nice, reliable result. So let's put the meter on and see what volts we've got on this pack. Maybe I didn't charge it. It's always possible. I have a lot of batteries laying around. Sometimes I don't have charged ones. What have I got here? Oh, come on. This is very difficult. Oh. It says nothing. So I think what's happening here is that these batteries are just not firmly in the holder. I'm going to just shuffle them around, give them a twist. See what happens now. Do we have voltage now? I have a feeling that was probably it. Probably the problem. But I could be wrong. Let's just measure cell to cell. Yeah, it's got 3.4. That's got 3.4. So why don't we have anything on the output? This is very interesting, isn't it? Positive, negative. No, definitely nothing on the output. How good is that? As I say, it's often because these things just don't connect well. Oh, let me measure from the negative terminal and see where the voltage stops. Fault finding in a review, it's always fun. Right, so up to there, 3.4, onto that side, nothing on that side, nothing on that side. So that link across there is not operative. We've got, let's measure it on the end. So that battery is not contacting that piece there. As I say, these are really problematic sometimes. Yeah, in fact, I can see it's not. What the hell is going on? This is terrible, Muriel. Let me just open this up. Just take this battery out. It's not going anywhere near where it's supposed to go. I don't want to set this thing on fire, so these can be hard to get out. I think maybe that wire there, see the way this is wired up? That black wire for the balance, I think that black wire was actually stopping the battery from being properly down. So I'll push that wire right into the corner, give it another go. Let's try this time. This is something you really, as I say, I just don't like battery holders. I really don't like them. But it's the same on all the radios. They're all coming with these. And let's measure again. I think we may have contact this time. It was just me not paying enough attention. Yes, we've got a good battery. So let's put that in and turn it on this time. Right, after the anticlimactic last attempt, let's try it again.
Welcome to OpenTX.
Yes, nice loudspeaker.
Throttle warning. Switch warning.
What switch? Oh, that one. There we go. So there we go. I mean, I think we've all seen this before, the OpenTX color. There's no touch things happening here. So, yep. So let's just have a quick...
Transmitter battery low.
Oh, we need to... That should have been okay. 3.4, 6.8. Maybe it's a bit low. Never mind. Let's just have a look. So we've got all the normal menus, I should think. Yep, all the normal stuff. There's nothing really much to see. That's the return button. Let's go to model memory. Model, there we go. So let's just check how that scroll wheel works. Yeah, the scroll wheel works just fine. It only goes one step per scroll.
Transmitter battery low.
I know, thank you, dear. So there we go. It is effectively just like the jumper and everything else. Oh, and the little lighty buttons work. If you like red.
Transmitter battery low.
And it's going to nag me forever, but let's turn it off. So it works. It works as advertised, at least as far as we can tell. I would not expect it to be anything other than exactly the same as the jumper and the RadioMaster. It has the same 5-in-1 RF module and everything else is the same. So really, which do you buy? What is your choice? Well, that's the great thing. You do have a choice. You've got a choice. Now, this one, I don't know what the price is, but if it's cheaper than the jumper or the RadioMaster, it gives you a lower cost entry. If you don't want... Well, I think the RadioMaster, certainly the nice silver one they sent me, is probably the best at the moment. But if you don't need the best, and not everybody needs the best radio. Let's face it, not everyone needs the best radio. And if you can get by with a radio that costs a little less, it gives you more money to buy other stuff that will further enhance your enjoyment of the hobby. So yeah, I'm happy with this. We've seen inside. It's really so similar to the others. It's just not worth splitting hairs. And so it is another option for you to choose from. Now I'll put a link. I'm not sure if they sent me a link to a preferred page, but if they did, I'll put it in there. It's not an affiliate link. I do not make money if you buy these things, which means I can tell you if something's good or something's bad without any fear of it being influenced by commercial imperatives. The only money I get are from my Patreon supporters and from the ads that run on these videos. So I'm just telling you the honest truth as I see it. There you go. So that's it. That is what was it? I've lost track of it now. It's hard to tell. I've got so many boxes. Here it is. It's the RadioKing. The RadioKing 4-in-1. And it is really just a cross between the jumper and the RadioMaster. There you go. If you've got questions or comments, anything you'd like to know specifically about this radio, and I will be setting this up and people at the club here will be flying it. So this is always a part one of a review. You can't say this is the best thing since sliced bread until you actually use the damn thing. And I can't use it at the moment because I'm mode 1 and this came mode 2. So I'm going to get other people to fly this and get their impressions of it. Other people who've got jumpers perhaps, because there's a few jumpers in the club. People who are flying jumpers, fly this as well. Tell me what you think in a comparison. So watch for that as a follow-up review, in which I'll also address answer any questions you might have and that you put down here in the commenty bit. There you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Spot you later.